Okay, so this is going to be a full guide on how to be able to get Sandstorm running, which is the private server for the EQOA EverQuest Online Adventures. And I'm just going to take you guys through the guide that I've written. And essentially what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take you through the exact steps that I wrote. And hopefully, if nothing goes wrong, there's only a few other guides out there, but they're not, there's too many things that go wrong. And so this is going to be an all-in-one guide, very easy to follow. You go straight down the list. You can't miss anything. It's very simple. I'm going to have a video here, this video, when I'm done. And essentially, it's going to walk you through these steps. We're going to go through them together. If you have questions, or if you need any more help, or the guide didn't work for you, I need all of you to go to the comments below, put it down there, and we're going to edit the guide as needed. Okay? So I've got this table of contents up here. If you only need one part of the guide, because some of you already have, like PSX installed, but you'll need to still go through that to set it up for this specific game. But essentially, here we go. So step one is getting the files that we need. Now, I'm not going to read all this, but I am going to give you the broad strokes, because you'll probably be following along on the written guide while you're watching the video. Essentially, you want to create a folder wherever your downloads go. Okay? So if your downloads go to, like mine, this PC, and then I have downloads, then that's where you will create this folder. The folder is going to be called EQOA Pack. Now, this folder is basically just to contain all the files so you don't get mixed up. It's not confusing. You'll have them all in one place. Now, where are the files? Right here. This link will literally take you to the exact file. It'll start to download. This one will start to download. This one, you will need to go there, go to the installer, go through the install, and then if you don't have Windows, you'll go to this one. And it's got instructions on that right there. This is the BIOS. This one you'll click it, and just like that, bam, it'll install. Okay? It's very easy. On this one, you will click it, and you will go all the way down. I would suggest the fast way, and you'll go down to the E. Go down to the E section. Okay? Now, this is where most of the other guides really get people messed up. Some of them don't want to give out material that could get them in trouble. The realistic thing is, Daybreak doesn't care. You're not going to get in trouble. Do what you will. Okay? Now, the exact one, I know it's very confusing, and I know that a lot of people are not explaining this, but no matter what part of the country you're in, you're going to have to connect to the US stuff. So here we go. It starts EverQuest right here. Well, that's Europe. Skip Europe. And then it's got EverQuest Online Adventures. It says beta. Skip all the betas. Skip demo. And then this is where people get really messed up. They click this one called, EverQuest Online Adventures. That's exactly what I need, right? Wrong. The update for EverQuest Online Adventures was called Frontiers. There's a beta, and then there's the one you actually need. You're going to click on this one here, and it says 29th of March, 2022. You're going to want this. It's going to be 1.3 gigs. This is a crucial step, and you're going to want to do this right, because this is the only copy out of this entire list that will work properly. A lot of guides get this wrong. This is what you need right here. You can also use your disk that you have. And for the BIOS stuff, that you can also use the BIOS ripped directly from your PlayStation. I'm not an idiot. I know that most of us are not going to do that, because why would we if we don't have to? The reality is, you're not going to get in trouble for doing this. If anything, the websites hosting these files will get in trouble, not the individual. No one's going to sue you. No one's coming after you. Is it illegal? Metaphorically illegal, yes. Daybreak doesn't care. They're never going to make this game. You're fine. I have had too many conversations with people that were worried about pirating, and it's like, dude, I get it. You know, would you download a car? Like, I get it, but you're fine. You're an adult. You're fine. You're playing an online video game. You're totally fine. I have to say this just because I've seen it too many times where they're not telling people what to do just because it's weird. And it's like, okay, well, they need to know how to do this. So setting up your PSX. Now this is where it gets a little complicated, okay? So we're going to go through here and we're going to do this together. We're going to look at it. Essentially, you're going to install the thing like we did back up here, okay? Once that's installed in your documents, so this PC documents and then PC SX2, that is typically where it will be, okay? You're going to have a folder, and in this folder there is going to be all of these. And we're going to use the files that we got from this section here. Now, you will have to create a folder called games. These are the games that you're allowing PSX to run. And this is the folder that you will link back to once you open PSX and it says, hey, where are your games at? Like, where's your folder for your games? You're going to tell it this folder. So just so we're clear, this is the address at which you do that, and it will take you to there. Very simple. Some of this stuff, the reason I'm going very slow and being honestly kind of condescending, is because the reality is there are people who could mess this up, and we desperately want people to play the game. I do not want to leave people guessing or confused. I just want to take it super slow, answer all y'all's questions, and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. So in this folder, you will not have games. Again, you'll have to create the games folder. When you open PSX, it'll ask you where your games are, and you'll tell it this folder right here, the games folder. Now, what do we put in the games folder? Well, let's go back up here. The actual video game. That is what we put in the folder, the disk that we just together downloaded. Okay? Now, all of this stuff should be in your EQOA pack. That's the folder that you made and put in your downloads. You're just going to shove all this crap inside that for now. It's in one place. Have it open and ready to do these steps. So, in the cheats folder that were in this documents area, in the cheats folder, we're going to put the Sandstorm patches that we got right here. So we're going to take both of these little patches and we are going to put them in to the cheats folder. Now, what is a cheats folder? This is the way that they have figured out to basically connect to their servers. So what is a cheats? You know, because, oh, cheats. No. It's just a way for Sandstorm to allow you to connect with the servers. All it does is tell the game, hey, Sony doesn't exist anymore. Their servers are gone. We're going to connect to a new server. That's what these do. And it's a way for them to also patch some stuff in the game, I believe. Now, there is the BIOS folder. Now, this is a difficult one. This is where a lot of people on a lot of other guides got really messed up. So I'm going to be very clear here. There is the folder that we downloaded right here, PS2 BIOS. It's got more stuff in it than you need. Okay, it's not just one file. I did this so it would be easy to host instead of hosting it myself and maybe having the links break over time. All of these are independently hosted by other people, and in the future will include backups in case these fail. But for right now, this BIOS is a folder that contains some shit you don't even need. There's only one thing really in there that you need, and we're going to go through that right now. Okay? So this is actually a picture of what your cheats folder should look like. And this is a folder, the same folder that you would have in this documents. This is what that should look like. Okay, that's what it should look like if you're fresh, you've never had PSX on your computer, and you're wanting to play. That's what it should look like. Okay, so this BIOS, we're going to go in here. This is your EQOA pack folder. This is what it should look like. Okay, when it's all packed. And then we're going to go into that zip folder. We're going to go in there, and it's going to have this folder. It's going to say PS2 BIOS USA. Perfect. Go into that folder. Now we're into a bunch of shit you don't need. You only need this 77001 V15 2020. This is the only folder in that whole thing that you need. And what you're going to do is you're going to open that folder, and it's going to have all of this stuff in it. Okay? It's going to have all this stuff. I'd even zoom in here a little bit. If you ever need to zoom in, if you're on Chrome, you just hold Control and you scroll mouse wheel. I know some of you, like myself, bad eyesight. I needed to zoom in just now, so maybe other people might need to. Maybe I'll make these images bigger. That folder, that BIOS folder, is going to have this stuff in it right here. You're going to take that, copy, and paste it into your documents, your BIOS folder right there. Your BIOS folder, again, it's in Documents, PC SX2. Right there, it goes in your BIOS folder. And that's what it'll look like after you're done. So it's like my name, Documents, PSX, BIOS. And then you're going to copy and paste these files in there. That's it. Okay? The reason I took that very slowly again is because some people were getting it very wrong, and some people were messing up on that step. And all we're trying to do is get people into the game and playing and loving the game with as little friction as possible. I'm trying to be really careful with you guys, because I want anyone from someone who has dementia all the way down to like a 5-year-old to be able to do this. Okay, so now what are we doing? We're going to wherever you installed your PSX. So typically that's on this PC C drive, and then the PC SX2. That's typically where this is going to install. You're going to go into that folder, your PC SX folder that's in your C drive, and you're going to find this PC SX2 QT. That is essentially the program that you're going to run, right? So we're going to take that, we're going to right click it, send to, and desktop. Okay. So now on your desktop, you're going to have this little shortcut. Very simple. Now you never have to go, back in that folder if you want to play the game. It's on your desktop. It's ready to click. Now we're going to, you can rename this. Like if your only intention is to, like, the only reason that you're doing this and you have no intention of playing other PS2 games, I eventually named mine Play EQOA. You could do the same, just so you remember, like you see it on your desktop and you're like, wait, what is that? And you'll go, oh, that's my EQOA, because I do that. So I'm not even being condescending on that one. That's just sometimes I download stuff and I forget. Okay. So we're going to have you open that now from the desktop link that you just created. Now, on the controller thing, I'm going to explain this pretty in depth. You can use any controller you want. Okay? You can use any controller that will hook up to your computer and will play on your computer. So if you have other games like Assassin's Creed, or you have like whatever, and you use a controller to play those games on your computer, you will need a controller to play this game. But it can be any controller. You can get, for instance, me, I have this, I'm not even kidding, you can get a $20 Xbox controller. Now, why did I pick Xbox? Because I'm a fucking idiot. This was $20. Wire goes to the computer, hooks into the USB. You are able to use that controller on your computer. Perfect. That's all you need. Now, obviously, maybe for comfortability, you might want to use a PlayStation controller, just because it's a PlayStation game, and every time it has stuff at the bottom that says press X, on Xbox, X is over here. On PlayStation, X is right here. So maybe for comfortability, you use a PlayStation controller if you have the option. I used an Xbox 360 controller. It was $20, very cheap. Works just fine. Works like a dream. Except for the trigger, which everyone, I'm sure if you're watching this and you watch my stream, that's annoying. But, we'll get it fixed eventually. So, you can play with the keyboard, okay? But you are going to have a bad time. You have a really bad time. This game was designed to play on PlayStation 2. It would like you to play with a controller. And it's not much of a suggestion, okay? So now that we got that PC SX open, we're going to go into settings, and we are going to go down here to controllers. So you say settings, controllers, right? Once we're in the controller settings, this looks very complicated, and it's not, because you really don't have to touch anything in here. Typically, what's going to happen is you'll go up here to this controller port 1, and it may be detected, it may not be detected. Like these say not connected. Anyway, you click right here. Obviously, you want to pick your DualShock, okay? That just means you have two thumbsticks. That's what you should play on. And then you're going to go over here to this automatic mapping. You're going to hit automatic mapping. Now, for most people, that's it. All of these buttons will fill in based on whatever you have plugged in, and it will try to map them as close as possible, and you will be good to go. You will be absolutely good to go. On the rare occasion that you get in the game and something doesn't feel right. Maybe you feel like, I'm missing something here. You will have to manually click. So what you'll do is you go to the D-pad and you'll click up, and then, on an Xbox controller, I would click up right on this D-pad, and that will assign it. So you left click, and that gets it ready to assign, and then you pick the button that you want to assign it to. Very simple. It may take time, and if you have some kind of physical disability, or you want to map your controller completely different from a normal person, this is actually super, super good for you, because you do not have to be forced to play like everybody else. And honestly, at the end of the day, if you want to change stuff, because the game natively does not allow you to map your buttons, right? So in the game, those buttons are those buttons, and that's it for everybody. But on here, you would be able to, like, okay, well, this is the talk button. Okay, well, I'll switch it to this on my controller. Now, it'll take a little time, but, in the long run, you have to do it one time, and that's it. You're good. You're good forever. Most people will just be clicking this automatic mapping, and it's done. All right. Moving on here. You're going to go to your settings again, and you're going to pick memory card. Absolutely listen to me when I say this. I don't care if 64 is bigger. I don't care if folder sounds cool. All that you need to worry about in this section is clicking 32, naming it whatever you want. Here's some suggestions. And I called mine EQOA because that's all I'm going to play on this. So 32. You have to pick 32. Other videos have allowed people to pick what they want. Do not do that. Okay? It will cause problems. 32 is what you want and need, and that is it. All right, moving on. So in here in Emulation, this is also in the settings. Emulation, you'll go here and you'll enable cheats. Okay? This basically, all this does is turn cheats on. And essentially it will inject those packages that make you able to connect to the Sandstorm server, and you won't have any issues. And that's about it. As long as this is enabled, and then we'll do another following check to make sure it's enabled on the game before we start it up. So the next one is network. Now, this is important, but it's not that complicated. You simply enable it. Then you go to that Ethernet device type, sockets. Ethernet device, auto. That's it. You're done with that. Go to graphics. Now, again, I'm going to put a warning here. I do not know how much this helps, good or bad or what. Some people seem to think that the game will have issues if you do not use this filtering right here, setting it to 16x. I'm not sure, but just to be safe, just do it. It doesn't cost you anything, doesn't affect anything. And even if they're wrong, the game runs fine for me. Just do it. Wash your hands of it. Some people believe that this does affect the game. I'm not convinced it does, but just to be safe, go ahead and do it. Now, we're going to right-click. We're going to leave the settings menu. We're going to go back to that first thing where you should see this if you've put that folder, which is, I believe, right here. This folder, let me double check really quick. While I'm filming this, I need to be really accurate. Folders, game list. That's one thing that I will need to add, but I'll just go over it real quick. There's a thing up here that says game list. You'll just go in there and make sure it's hooked to that folder we made earlier called games. That'll be in your documents, in the PSX folder, and then games. And it will populate and it will scan recursively. It will pick that up for you, and that is all that you need to do with that. And basically, it will allow you to see the game in that main menu. That's what it will look like. You're going to right-click that. You're going to go to cheats. You're going to enable cheats if it's not, because for some reason, and this is another reason why some of those tutorials mess up. For some reason, sometimes cheats is enabled, and sometimes it is not. You've already enabled it up here, so it should be enabled, right? Well, sometimes it isn't. And it's very confusing on when it does and when it doesn't. Either way, if you've done every other thing right, you should see Sandstorm. Okay? You're going to checkbox that, make sure this is enabled, and that's it on that one. Now, you're ready to run the game. The hard part is over. Your copy should work flawlessly. You never have to worry about it again. You never have to do any of this again if you don't want to. Maybe if you switch computers, maybe if you get a new hard drive, whatever. This guide will always be here, and it will continue to be updated, and I realize that game list thing was not in this guide. That will be included too. So I kind of told you out loud what to do, and I'll have a picture of it in here. No worries. No worries. I had to put this together in 2 hours, and that was it was not easy. Okay, so final steps. You're almost there. You've started the game. It goes through some bullshit in the beginning. You'll click through all of it. You'll get here, and it'll say, hey, your memory card is unformatted. And then you just fucking do it. You just format it. You're fine. Then it'll say, hey, do you want to save your game? Duh. We go, yeah, of course I want to save my game. Now here's something you want to do, maybe. On the main menu, after all that's done, you have this options button. My personal recommendation, if you want to enjoy this game, go to audio, and you want to turn combat music the fuck off. Because it is annoying, and it's broken, it doesn't work right. It was annoying in EverQuest, but at least it worked. And here, it's disgusting, turn it off. Get rid of that. You don't want that in your life. You'll know when someone's attacking you because your player will scream out in pain as they penetrate him from the back. Now, on your sound effects, I would recommend taking this down quite a bit. The sound effects are loud and boisterous, and you just suit this to your comfort. The music is so beautiful, okay, in this game. I wouldn't say turn it off, but I would definitely say, lower, keep it in the background where it's supposed to be. Not trumpets on high, jumping from the mountains, screaming their heads off. It will eventually get on your nerves if you leave it full blast. On gameplay, this is a super big one. This annoys me. It might not annoy you. You can see how you feel once you're in game. Basically, when you target somebody, you have the option to melee them. It's just like in EverQuest. You click your attack button, right? So you'll click attack. Your attack button on your controller should be, if you didn't change anything, should be your X button, which on my Xbox controller is actually A, right there at the bottom. Okay? What's going to happen is you're going to click that, And then instead of having to keep clicking to attack, you click it one time, and that's it. You're good. Leave it alone. Your character will fight until they die or he dies. If you click it again, he will stop auto-attacking. Now, the other method is, and I don't recommend this, and I'm going to explain why, is to auto-attack with your button. There's two schools of thought on this. When you attack something, the cycles play automatically, okay? So anytime that the character can attack, it will. Even if it's way too far away from the person, it will run its cycle and it'll attack. Then it'll wait again and it'll attack. Personally, you don't have that issue in here of not being able to keep up with the mobs. Like in EverQuest, sometimes the mobs, they're just too fast and your auto attack is too slow, and God, you gotta chase after them. In this, not the case. You'll always catch your prey. They go down to like 50% movement speed. You're not chasing these guys. They're right there. You follow them, you attack, they're dead. Now, if you're using the method where you press X, you can time your attack to perfectly align. Meaning you'll never waste a cycle. So if your guy attacks and they're too far out, you've wasted the cycle because he couldn't hit them because they're too far away. With the pressing method, you'll always be able to catch up to them and you'll hit them. Perfect. With the auto attack method, if they move too far away while you're fighting, or they find a new target, like your tank taunts them and they find a new target and they run away, you'll miss your attack because you can't hit them. But it's just really up to how you feel. Personally, when I played when I was younger, I didn't use the auto attack, but I will say that I had durable thumbs then. Nowadays, clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking, I'm not for it. So I prefer to set the auto attack to yes and let it happen. I am sorry that was such a long-winded explanation of the auto attack, but I thought it would be good to just go ahead and tell you so you understand. Next, we go to network setup. This is really easy. You click add settings. You don't touch a fucking thing. You click X all the way through. Don't change anything. Don't worry about what it says. Click X through everything, and at the end of it, it'll say, setting guide mode has completed. Do you want to test your connection? No, you don't really need to because everything's going to work correctly. It's not back in the day. You don't have dial-up and you're fine. It's going to work fine. If you're connected to the internet, it'll work. No need to test your connection. Then we'll go in here and it'll say, do you want to quit? You'll press back. It'll say, do you want to quit? And you'll say, yeah, I want to quit. And it'll go back to the main menu. You'll hit play, and there's your new internet connection. This is what basically connects you to Sandstorm. It'll run through its stuff, and it'll update, and it'll do all the stuff, and it'll say play. You'll hit play. Then comes the fun part. You'll create your username, okay? And it'll have all this stuff like first name, middle initial, birthdays, and all that stuff. Listen, when Sony put the game out, this mattered because if you ever lost your account was ever stolen, they would say, well, what's your birthday? What's your name? What's your address? How, like da-da-da-da. And you'll get your account back. With Sandstorm, this is a free-to-play, who gives a fuck server. You can put whatever you want in here. Just for the love of God, remember your username and password. That is all that matters. That is how you recover your stuff. I'm not entirely convinced that if you lose this, that Sandstorm can help you recover stuff. I don't know. So since there is a chance that you can't recover this, make sure to do the username and password and remember them. Now you're ready to play the game, okay? I'm going to be making more guides in the future and doing more stuff to help the community and getting more people to play. and doing live streams and, guides for the classes, races, stuff. Help people understand the game more and help people get into it and get over that little hurdle that people have when they first play the game. So essentially, from this screen, you click play, you'll click the server, you'll make your character, and you're ready to play the game. You never have to do any of this ever again. Thank God, right? I've got some links down here to the official Sandstorm server. I've got a donation link. It's up to you guys. And then I've got my YouTube link. What I would really love is if this helped you, you're watching the YouTube video right now. If you would go to my YouTube, subscribe, comment, watch my stuff, that's way more help than anything, obviously money's money, but, I'm saying, just any help that you can give me for helping you, and I'll be around. And hey, maybe you like my streams, maybe you don't, but I will be around in the community, and I hope this guide helped you come home to the beauty that is EverQuest Online Adventures. And I hope that you find, for the people who hadn't got a chance to play, I hope you find a new home here. And we'd love to have you in the community. And, so I'll see you in the game. And I answer every comment. Whatever you guys need, tell me below, and I'll try to help out where I can. Thank you for watching, and I hope this guide helps you.